Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Passions Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the soap opera Passions. I am your regular host, LeTara, back today with Maria and a new guest host, Michelle. Welcome. Oh, I gave you extra applause. Welcome back, Maria. How are you feeling today?
I'm feling excellent.
We're liking the hair. I'm liking the hair.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
it's giving Teresa. Are you?
Don't make me for the watch. Wait till part 2 because I might have to then just change this.
She's a beautiful girl. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm just saying.
And Michelle, welcome. How you feeling?
I'm feeling super excited and really great. And I do agree. You are giving Teresa, Maria.
All right, people. Don't make me have to go and take this wig off, okay?
Michelle, welcome to everybody out there. This is Michelle's first time guest hosting, but maybe not the last. She is one of our almighty cranes, which is amazing. So thank you, Michelle, for being here. We are talking about today episodes 901 through 905. And y'all, we hopped on and we already have been like talking, discussing, disagreeing, but not on what you might think, actually. We've been disagreeing on things that you might not be surprised. You might be surprised at where I land on some things this week. So, yeah, we're going to get into 901 and not through 905. But first, I want to say a shout out to all the patrons over on Patreon. Thank you to Munashe, Lisa S., Zach, Sid, Sarana, Randall, Hannah, Camelia, Jeanette, Eric, Jamie, Fantasia, Sean S., Larissa, Maria, Lisa A., Jessica Jean, Laura, Karen, Uche, Paige, Casey, Garrinch, Tom Bergeron, Stephen Winthrop, Daisy, Shane, Kelly C., Taylor Harris Crane, DJ, Kelly M., Rodo, Lisa R., Acacia, Natalie, Andrew, who is also an almighty crane, Jekyll Hyde, and MB, who's here with us today, our Michelle, our almighty crane. So thank you all for being patrons. I love how long the list is. I love how long the list has gotten. So, and I wouldn't mind if it got a little longer. So if you would like to join us for a watch party or come out to the Discord and talk to us about what's going on Passions, or even like, we talk about more than just Passions on the Discord.
Yeah.
We have a Beyond the Gates channel where we talk about that. There's a Days of Our Lives channel. And then there's also just like general life updates. You know, people just saying like, hey, I got a new job. Hey, this thing's happening in my life. And, you know, we just kind of have a supportive group of people, and it's a lot of fun. So if you would like to join, go to patreon.com/passionspodcast and sign up for whatever tier you find most agreeable. Also, I'm going to have to say this at the top of the show because I haven't been saying this for a while, but I would really appreciate if you have not already left a review or like a rating for the podcast. Could y'all do that for me? And don't leave me 1 star like Maria did that time. But I would really appreciate a few more ratings. It helps people find the show. And also, if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. I have some ideas for some bonus content that's going to be coming out. Laura was over yesterday and we had a few conversations. She's not coming back to the podcast. Don't ever think she's ever coming back. She's never coming back.
I'm kind of not mad because I like guest hosting, so.
I know. She's never coming back, but we had some conversations. She asked me what's going on, and I started bringing her up to speed on what's going on with Shawise. She asked about that one specifically. And it was just, we had so much fun. It was so funny. Like, we laughed so hard with me just quickly bringing her up to speed, and it was such a fun time. I was like, this could be a really good bonus episode, just me bringing you up to speed from time to time on different storylines. So,
which the update is, channel. There's no update. They're still doing the exact same thing.
Well, you know what? For her, it actually was kind of an update a little bit because the last she heard, Sheridan was engaged to Antonio. So at least now she's married to Antonio.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But engaged as Sheridan or engaged as Diana?
As Sheridan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. She knew about that. She came back and got her memories back and realized that she was engaged to Luis's brother. So anyway, before we get into 901 through 905, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to give Michelle the floor to give us her Passion's origin story. So Michelle, please take it away.
Okay, so I think mine is pretty similar to a lot of people's. I started watching it in like middle school, which probably wasn't appropriate, with my mom. And I would just rush to be home the second I got off the bus. Me and my mom did not agree on a lot, but we did agree on everyone shut up when Passions is playing. So I pretty much just watched that up until they put it on DirecTV. My mom was not getting DirecTV for that. And then I actually got the earlier episodes when they were on Sci-Fi for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to see like
Sci-Fi?
a bunch more. Yeah, it was actually pretty awesome. Even my mom was shocked. So I was able to see like a lot of these storylines from the beginning. And then as an adult, I found them on YouTube. And I just went through all of them. And it was just crazy how I saw things as an adult was so much different from how like little 12-year-old me used to see things.
Yeah.
So I was just like obsessed with it. And then I was like seeing something on Facebook and they're like, oh yeah, if you like Passion, check out this podcast. So I found your podcast and I just watched that back to back to back. I was like it was to the point like if I have to take out my headphones at like a headphone at work because I'll leave one in because sometimes some of our stuff isn't work appropriate.
Right.
So if I take one out, my boss was like, are you listening to that Passion thing again? So it's very well known, my little obsession with this.
Well, I love that. I'm glad that your obsession is well known. I wouldn't call it obsession. I think it's normal human behavior.
Exactly.
No, you know what? I love that you and your mom, talked about how you and your mom disagreed on a lot because to this day, my mom, because I watched Days of Our Lives with my mom. We didn't watch Passions together. Not really. We watched a little bit, but not really. But mostly we watched Days of Our Lives together. And to this day, my mom still kind of like gives me the side eye because I love Sammy Brady so much. She still is like, that crazy girl, Sammy, you love Sammy? Why do you like her so much? It's like, girl, I love me some Sammy Brady.
I love Sammy. Oh.
Yeah, but
I love a bad girl who knows she's a bad girl.
Agreed. Yeah, I love her. So, yeah, that's a lovely story. Thank you for sharing. And now, on with the show, people. There is much to talk about. And we're gonna start with Shawise today, even though there's nothing nice about this storyline this week. I'm still gonna give y'all some bloom because we haven't had it in a while. And you know what? I will say, even though they're not like having sex, Luis is doing such a good job of like backing Sheridan up. Yeah. Sheridan needs to do a better job of standing up for herself in general. But Luis is being such a supportive partner through this week. And I really appreciate a lot of I appreciate pretty much everything Luis had to say this week. Pilar is another story. However, I do have so much. I had a moment where I was like, I actually do get where Pilar's coming from to an extent. To only so far. Because at a certain point, I was just like, come on, Pilar. You hear yourself, girl? But
she does.
We'll get into it.
She's also very religious, so that's playing a huge part of it.
Yes, honey.
Aspiration.
And I think is a lot of guilt for not being able to like raise him toward the end since he just left. So there's probably like abandonment type guilt going on.
She has waited so long to get her son back. He's back, but now he's going to die and she's going to truly lose him forever. And she held on to the hope that he was not dead for many years. And now she has him back, but he is going to be dead. So I do have some sympathy for Pilar. I really do. I think we will talk about it.
She is equating him to Martin because it was always both of them that are gone. So here's one is back and it's like Martin's not back. So it's like she's trying to just hold on to it as much as as much as she can.
Yeah. Let's get into it and
Yeah.
let's talk about it. So, Antonio is in the hospital. Reminder to everyone that Sheridan forgot to give him his second dose of medicine exactly 30 minutes after he had his first dose. And because she was talking to Luis in the hallway and they were realizing that they had missed each other at the judge's office when they both had planned to elope, because she was having that conversation with Luis, Antonio is now in the hospital on the verge of death, knocking on heaven's door. Well, hell's door probably, because he's horrible.
Yeah.
God, he's so awful. Like, he's coding on a bed and I'm just like, fucking die. I can't stand him. We're gonna get there. The tape killed me. Okay. Yes. It solidified. If I didn't think he was bad enough, it solidified just how nasty I think he really is.
It makes you feel like he knows.
He's
and
awful.
He just wants to dig it into Sheridan and Luis. It's almost like, I'm gonna fuck you guys over even in death.
The thing is, I would appreciate it more if he did know and he was doing that shit on purpose. I would, because at least there's some rhyme or reason to it. This makes no sense. So I'm still on my first note. So actually, I'll pre-first note. I gave you the recap of last week. Anyway, Sheridan feels terrible. Okay, she's feeling very guilty about this. Of course she does. She fucked up, frankly. Antonio codes cardiac arrest. And she thinks back to Beth saying to Beth that she forgot to give Antonio. Oh, she thinks back about forgetting to give him the medication or whatever. And the conversation where Beth blamed her for everything. Oh my God. Beth is like, she is really doing such a great job at just sprinkling salt in Sheridan's wounds.
Yeah.
And I can't fault her for it because, I mean, we'll get there, but so yeah, Beth spends the entire week just blaming Sheridan and whispering in her ear, "This is all your fault, Sheridan."
I don't get how Sheridan isn't now picking up on the fact that Beth was never your friend.
I think it's just her guilt doing everything. And like Beth knows that. So like it feels like Beth's main goal is, I'm going to make sure that no matter what happens to Antonio, Sheridan's going to feel too guilty.
Correct.
To want to be with him. So then in Sheridan's mind, even Pilar has blamed her.
Yeah.
Miguel's not really talking to her. And then you have Beth who's just confirming everything. So I can see why Sheridan in this state of mind is like, she's blaming herself so much. She's like, I don't blame Beth for being angry because she loves this family too.
Yeah. And Sheridan fucked up. Sheridan, I don't care. Sheridan fucked up. Okay. She was supposed to give him his medicine. She said she was going to come back to give him his medicine. And yes, I talked about like how he needed to have a system. He should be able to do it on his own. Well, the reality is he couldn't do it on his own, and he expected her to do it, and Eve expected her to do it. She said she was going to do it. And now this is the result because she was neglectful in her duty to her husband, actually, who was dying. And she has spent months being so concerned about his health, being so worried that he's going to die and it'll be my fault, even though it wasn't her fault. This time, it actually is. You can draw a direct, straight line to Sheridan as to how he ended up in this hospital this time. So it's stupid, but it is what has been written.
He should have gotten better medication.
It's stupid, but it is what has been written. So we got to go with the canon. So anyway, Antonio codes, but Eve is able to stabilize his heart rate, and she puts everybody out of the room. She's like, everybody out. He then goes into cardiac arrest again. He flatlines. Antonio's dead. Let's watch the clip, people, because I have to watch him die at least once. I have to watch him die at least once. So,
flatlining again, doctor. Give me 200 joules of ether. Ready. Clear. No change. Okay, increase 2 to 300. 2 to 300. Ready, doctor. Clear? It's not working. He's not responding. Come on, Antonio. Don't die on me. Please don't die. Doctor, it's too late. There's nothing you can do. Antonio's dead.
Too late.
Yay! So that was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Even shirtless did not make me care about that character at all.
No.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a bad body. It's just, no.
No, he's not a bad looking dude. The character's just so awful that it's like, you can't, I can't find anything
I just
attractive.
remember thinking at one point, how is he not brain dead after all this? Because he dies like for at least 5 minutes of them talking, and they bring him back, and then he dies for 5 more minutes, and like, okay, I'm just gonna, knock it off to passions. But then again, even brain dead, I feel like it's not that much of a difference.
I was about to say, he's brain dead before.
Conditioned. He's conditioned already.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's been brain dead since we met him. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was so nice. Antonio's dead, except of course he's not. Fucking Eve. So while that's going on with Eve dealing with him, Luis and Sheridan are talking. She blames herself for Antonio's condition. She's right, of course. And Luis insists like, no, you were talking to me. It's fine. She's like, well, his original accident was my fault too. Like, he's only here because of me, everything. So they're having this conversation, and Beth is glaring at Sheridan.
Oh my God. When she hugs Pilar and then just glares at Sheridan, I couldn't stop laughing.
So funny. It was so good. She does such a good job of that.
Did you clip that one?
I have a few clips, but I don't know if I don't know if I have a Beth.
Because that was a
We'll
good
see.
look.
As I go through my notes, we'll see what I have.
Okay.
So Sheridan and Luis are having this conversation, and Beth is glaring at Sheridan. Sheridan says to Luis, it's still my fault. You heard your mother earlier. She even said that I've killed her son. And yes, she apologized afterwards, but it's still what everyone thinks. Deep down inside, everyone is going to blame me for Antonio's death. So that's like where Sheridan's head is at. I think that sentence, that little exchange or whatever she just said, or those couple of sentences, paragraph is the word. Paragraph is the word I'm looking for. That little paragraph is basically how she feels the whole week, right? Like this,
Yeah.
You can boil down how Sheridan feels to that. Also, this is one of maybe 5 times Sheridan speaks this week. I think every episode she talks like once. She, particularly in the back end of the week, there was one episode she had exactly 2 lines in, and I was like, this is crazy because everybody's just yelling at her.
Yeah.
Right? So Luis says, no, nobody's going to blame you for Antonio's death. And he says, it doesn't matter anyway if they do, because I love you and I will never blame you for what happened to Antonio. And he also adds that he's willing to give up his family. And this is not the first time he said this. For Sheridan, he says, I'll give them up for you, Sheridan. I always want to be with you no matter what, even if it costs me my family. I don't know.
I don't like that too much.
Especially coming from Luis. And I think I've touched on this before, but particularly coming from Luis, who is so incredibly family oriented. It is like the first thing we learn about him. It is one of his main like character plot points, right? Is that he gave up all his happiness, his future to help his mother take care of the family because it means that much to him. So
no, agreed. And to have such strong sentiments of like leaving his family for Sheridan, who won't even leave his brother for him.
Hello? Exactly. Thank you, Maria. Okay.
You're welcome.
Do you think Beth was sitting there thinking, like, where the fuck was that when I was his girlfriend? Like, when we were a legitimate
That's true. He chose his family over Beth. He chose his family over Beth. So I guess that just tells you how much he loves Sheridan.
Sheridan.
Over
Yep. That's
how much he loves Beth.
Yep. So, meanwhile, Eve refuses to let this motherfucker die. Oh my God. Just let him be dead. So she manages to snatch him from the jaws of death.
Maybe her secret plan is if she can keep Antonio alive, Liz can finally try to be with him and then leave her alone.
Hilarious. She's like, you can't die, Antonio. I need to pawn Liz off on you.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's that'd be a solid plan.
I said that would be her best plan through the entire show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be a solid plan. Honestly, she could go to Liz and be like, hey, I'm going to help you get Antonio. Huh?
Thank you.
Huh? Yeah.
Thank you. Can I be redeemed as your sister if I help you get Antonio?
Yeah, exactly. So Antonio survives, and Eve comes and tells the family that he likely won't survive the night. Miguel says, well, Dr. Russell, is there anything you can do? Isn't there anything we can do? Try. And she says, well, there are some experimental treatments. Why are we just hearing about this now? Mm-hmm. Why am I just hearing about experimental treatments now? She says, well, there are experimental treatments. But before she can get anything out, because she's like, she's trying to say there are risks to them involved. Pilar's like, do it. Give it to my son. I give him the experimental drug. I don't care. Pilar says she doesn't care about the risks. And Eve manages to tell them that there's a minuscule chance that the experimental drugs could help him live, but there are also horrible consequences if he lives. She goes on to say he could be just a shell of his former self, a vegetable. They use the word vegetable a lot. A vegetable requiring constant care.
Basically how he is now. He's already walking brain dead. He's like Weekends at Bernie's.
He is.
Otherwise, he shut up.
Wait, say that again, Michelle.
At least the way Eve's talking about, he would just shut up for a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta, yeah. So, she tells them she said there's a minuscule chance that they could help keep him alive. Later on, they keep saying it's going to cure him. And I was like, which one is it? Yeah. If it works, it's a cure. If it gets conflated and gets like all misconstrued all the way through, I think
the premise was it'll keep him alive so that if there is a cure, they can cure him. They can give him a cure. So it's more about let's keep him alive so that there's still always a chance to cure him.
Okay. So
I mean, it's flimsy, but that's what I was getting out of it. Because Pilar at one time does say, and maybe one day what if he dies and then the next day there's a cure and it could have saved him?
Yes, that's why I was confused. I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll take what you said, Maria, for 1,000. So Miguel and Pilar. Miguel and Pilar both are like, I think it's worth the risk. We should do it. And Eve says, well, actually, you need to hear what Antonio thinks before you make any decisions. Everybody's confused, considering he's practically dead already, right? She's like, you need to hear from Antonio. And then she reveals that there's a tape that Antonio made before all of this and left to her care. She's the executrix, which I've never heard executrix. I looked it up. It's like the female specific version of executor, although executor is a gender neutral term. So they didn't even have to do that. But
look at Passion is trying to be a little progressive.
I don't know even if it is progressive. Because it's like just use the gender neutral term.
I see it as them always having to separate the men from the woman in one way or another. It's like Sheridan with that, I'm a murderess, bitch, you're just a murderer.
Yeah. Though I did love the murderess stuff. I loved it. I was just like, God, that's so funny to me. I'm a murderess.
It sounds more sexy too. It's like
it sounds like she's in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna do the cell block tango. The Merry Murderesses of what was it called?
She had it coming. She had it coming.
The Cook County Jail.
Oh.
She had it coming.
Can't wait till we get there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, there's a tape. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. I already knew this tape was some fucking bullshit. I knew it was gonna be some bullshit. I knew it was.
Wait, are you gonna torture us and show us the clip of this damn fucking
Absolutely
tape?
not.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't even watch the shit. Here's what I did. I had the transcript up because I was like, okay, I already know this is about to be some bullshit that they're gonna drag out. And so I scrolled through to find on the transcript when he actually said what it was he was trying, what the point of the video was. And I took that dialogue and I put it in my notes, but I didn't even really listen to the rest of it. I did, but I 2 times did. Let's say that. I 2 times speeded it. And I was just like, whatever. He's irritating. He's so irritating. So, because the first 30 minutes of this video are just him talking about how much he loves Sheridan and how much she's the most beautiful, perfect woman, and apologizing to his mama for leaving the family, and apologizing to Louise and saying how he wishes he could have been there for everybody. Like, it's just him just laying his regrets at their feet.
There was that one point, and I guess it's so for dramatic reasons, where he says something that almost alludes that he knew about us. Louise, he knew about us. Oh no. And it's
I'm gonna tell you how I felt about that. This is how I felt about that. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. Actually, I'm about to get there. So let's the family all goes to a room to look at this tape. They start the tape, and then Beth comes knocking on the door because Beth isn't part of the family really. But she comes knocking on the door and she says, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Antonio is Luis's brother, and Luis and I are still engaged. So, and Pilar's like, oh, come on then, Beth, come and have a seat by me. I'm happy you're here, whatever. But, and this is just a little thing. It's not super important to dwell on, but it was just a bad look. If you're trying to look good to Luis or Pilar, I feel like or his family in general, it just was kind of like a bad look.
I think Pilar appreciated her there, though. I think she welcomed her there because
I think Pilar is mad at Sheridan. I think Pilar is mad at Sheridan, and she's subconsciously using Beth to. It's not because Pilar has huge fish to fry right now, so I don't want to make it seem like she's like making light of the situation that she's in and doing these things but it does feel a little pointed. If I'm being honest, it feels a little pointed. But I think from
Pilar's point of view, she appreciates anyone who's there for her family. So I don't think that Pilar would see it as a bad look. Just like if Charity was there, they wouldn't even think twice about letting Charity into the room, even if they weren't married.
Okay, yeah. Beth just seemed so happy to be
well,
there.
Yeah, that's
she
a
was
different
smiling. Thing. I don't know. It was a bad look.
Stuck in that room with a big old smile on her face.
Yeah. That's what I wrote. Beth, Pilar welcomes her into the room and tells her to come sit with her. Beth does so smiling. It's so weird. That's what I wrote in my notes.
It was awkward.
It was weird. Antonio goes on. This is, I guess, important because Antonio says this tape is about so many things, but mainly it's about something I've known all along, something you need to know. I know. Okay. Something you need to know that I know. Okay. Something that could change our lives forever. Sheridan then turns to Luis and it's like, oh my God, Antonio knows about us, Luis. He knows about us. He's always known. And Luis is like, calm down. There's no way he could have known. And so I already said that. Mm-hmm. So he says, there's no way he could have known. Pilar then says, what if he does know? What if he picked up the feelings you two have for each other? What if he's been protecting us this whole time? Protecting, more like tormenting. If he does know, that's fucked up.
That is fucked up. That is fucked up.
And no one registered that. No one. Like, even Sheridan was more like shocked. And I was sitting there like, why is she not pissed at that idea? Like, why is she angry that he's been like, I'm blind, I can't see you two fucking. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
she was like hopeful that he knew. And I was just like, ugh, that, I mean, I guess it takes the stress off of her of like the guilt, not the stress, but the guilt to an extent.
And Rich coming from Pilar, who was the one who distinctively told them, do not tell Antonio.
Yeah. Yeah, Pilar makes some interesting choices this week. Because this is just the beginning. What if he did know? What if he's been protecting us the whole time? That's protection to you? Him pretending like he doesn't know what's going on between Sheridan and Louise, and clearly they're in agony and he just doesn't care. That's protecting you. How is that protecting y'all? I don't understand that. So the video continues because they start and stop this shit for so long. I wrote the video continues and Antonio continues to say nothing because he's not saying anything. Then Pilar has a little flashback of learning how he ended up in such bad shape. So it's just Passions is just kind of priming us for Pilar's explosion that's coming up. Like telling us, she's thinking about, she did say that she forgives Sheridan or that she's sorry or she doesn't blame Sheridan or whatever, but she said that that's not how she really feels, basically is what they're telling us. Okay. So Sheridan asks, she's like, oh, can we stop the tape? This is just too much. I can't take it anymore. Eve tells her basically, tough shit, sweetheart. We don't have, like, what? Sit your ass down and listen to what your husband's wishes are. Listen to what he wanted, right? So that's basically, Eve is like, I'm sorry, but we don't have the time, girl. Sit down. We have to continue with the tape. Also, I have other fucking patients. I can't spend all day with y'all. So, he, in the video, he brings up this experimental drug. So that's what he knew about, that he's known about all along. So of course he did not know about Louise and Sheridan. He brings up this experimental drug. Pilar is like, we need to give him the drug because again they stopped the tape. And Pilar's like, there's an experimental drug. He knew about it. We have to give him the drug. Louise says that it's something. Louise and Miguel both say like this is something we need to think on as a family. Beth meanwhile takes this like little break in time to pour some more salt on the wound in Sheridan's like heart, right? Like, she says, look at them. Do you see how close they are? If you don't give Antonio that medication, he'll die. His family will be crushed. Sheridan snaps back. I know, we will all be crushed. And then Beth says, maybe Luis will eventually come back to you after he's over the grief of losing his brother, but it will cause a terrible rift in that family and they will never be this close again. Can you really do that to Luis? I mean, yeah, can you? You're not wrong. Okay, they continue the video. This is the most important part. Everybody turn the volume up, listen intensely, hear what the fuck I'm about to say, okay? They continue the video, and eventually, after a lot of absolutely nothing from Antonio, he finally says, I want you to let me go, Sheridan. Please, Sheridan, I'm asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to pass on giving me that drug. Tell Dr. Russell not to give it to me. You have to let me go. You have to let me die. Now, take that in, suck that all in, right?
I even bolded it because I was like, there it is.
I put it in red. Like, I highlighted it red because it's so clear what Antonio was asking her to do, right? Obvious. Now, I did skip over some of the shit he was saying in that video because I frankly don't care, but it is important that before he says this, explicitly telling her not to give him the drug, he does say, I do think I would be okay being a vegetable for the rest of my life if you were sitting there next to me and holding my hand. And I think even if I was in a coma, I could sense you next to me. So remember that is what something he said in the video, which is the basis for all of what Pilar has to say next. Okay. So,
Which is not love.
no,
You do not handcuff someone to your bed and you be a vegetable. That's not love. That's not
I
love.
feel like that was probably the most selfish thing he said, like the entire time on that show, because if he really didn't want to take that medication, like there are forms that you can sign that say, these are the steps I will not take. He could have had a conversation with Sheridan before it got this friends, like, listen, if this happens, you're going to be offered this, don't do it. Instead, he keeps his mouth shut, makes his video and says, oh yeah, no, don't do it. But, it would feel really nice if you were just, at my bedside 24/7 away from Louise.
The same man that told her, I want you to move on and marry someone.
Louise specifically.
Did he actually say?
He
No,
said
because
Louise
he
would
was
be the perfect guy for you. But then he was like, well, he's marrying Beth. But he did say
Oh,
Louise.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just an asshole. And my thing, there's a video literally saying, do not give me the drugs. Why the fuck did Eve even have to present this until after? To say, like, we were following his orders. It's like if I went to the doctor and be like, I don't give a fuck what my spouse says. This is my wishes. They're supposed to follow what I say, not leave it up to the spouse.
You are absolutely right, except this is not a legal document. Back to what Michelle said.
Oh, you're right.
What's her name? Eve. Eve legally does not have the position to be able to make life or death decisions for Antonio. She doesn't. She is the executrix of his will, but I looked this up and there's a difference between power of attorney and the executor of a will. Power of attorney is the person who acts on your behalf while you're alive. The executor just follows your wishes after you're dead. So since Antonio is still alive, right, Eve really has no... this isn't a legal document. What Michelle said is exactly right, and it's what I thought about. I was like, if I'm Antonio and I know I'm like gonna die and things are kind of bad, I don't want to put anybody in a position to have to make any hard decisions, right? So at the very least, you could assign a third party, get good Woody Stumper back in here, get our lawyer back in here, and say, you're my power of attorney. Here are my wishes. You will execute this one, like, once I'm about to die. Like, this is what I want. That way, Pilar can be angry at Woody, right? He should have made it explicitly clear. And that's what pissed me off about this video, is that he did not make his wishes. He did and he didn't make his wishes explicitly clear, right? He says at the end, I want you to let me go, Sheridan. Please, Sheridan, I'm asking you. So that is, to me, is very, very clear and explicit. However, before he said that, he's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't mind taking the experimental drug if it meant that maybe you would be next to me holding my hand. And so it leaves things up to interpretation, because this is not a legal document, right? And you could take this to the courts and it'd be tied up in the courts for a long time, right? So I hate Antonio for this. I hate him for this. He definitely should have gotten himself somebody with power of attorney who would just make the decision.
I was going to say, though, because after he does say, I want you to be strong, Sheridan, let me go, he does say, I don't want to live my life if I'm a vegetable. I don't want you trapped there beside me, holding my hand the rest of my life with no hope for the future. I want you to have the freedom to be able to go out and find someone else to love and live the rest of your life and be happy. So Sheridan, my family, Mama, Louise, blah, 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 I wish nothing but happiness. So whatever he did say before about her being by his side, he just negated it.
Yeah, I think it's very clear.
That asshole wants to die. Kill his ass.
I agreed. I personally think it's very clear. I agree with you, Maria. I think it's very, very clear. Passions decided to muddy the waters, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not muddy to me. He
It's
literally
not
said
muddy.
it.
It's crystal clear. It is crystal clear as Lake Minnetonka.
And even though he didn't cite documents, he's literally saying in a tape of sound mind, don't give me the drugs. It should be almost as binding as a document.
I agree.
So I'm just going to say the only reason why I kind of understood it being dragged out was because I know like everything he said after that kind of takes it away, but he has to know that if you say there, I think I'd be okay with it if I had you by my side, that, his mom especially is going to hold on to that because Eve doesn't tell anyone anything face to face. 6 different people have to be in the room. So it's not like he didn't know that his mother was going to hear that. And then Sheridan especially, Sheridan blames herself for everything that goes wrong. Like a rock could hit him in the face and that could kill him, and she would find a way to blame herself.
Agreed.
Knows she's going to take that, and that's going to be just enough to twist it in to where she is going to say, well, yeah, he did say this, but there's his hope. Like, I think, so I feel like he knows what he's doing when he does this.
100%.
Oh, yeah, Antonio knows what he's doing. But for me, I just would have been like, oh, no, he ended it that he didn't want to be a vegetable. So pull the plug. Let's pull the plug. And it's not that because I don't like Antonio. I would feel that way against any character that was on Passions. And later on, spoilers, it happens to Ethan. And I was totally on Gwen's side because he wrote it down.
Yeah, these people. So, Pilar. So I'm just going to read what he said again. I want you to let me go, Sheridan. Please, Sheridan. I'm asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to pass on giving me that drug. Tell Dr. Russell not to give it to me. You have to let me go. You have to let me die. Okay? Pilar immediately decides, she jumps up and says, she immediately decides they have to go against Antonio's wishes. He didn't know what he was talking about. She's like, no, you heard, she actually is like, you heard him, give him the drug. You heard him, give him the drug. Give my son the drug. And so it was so funny throughout this. Pilar a lot says like, give my son the drug, give my son the drug kind of thing. And it reminded me of Shirley MacLaine in Terms of Endearment. Give my daughter the shot. You know what I'm talking about? Give my daughter the shot, which is, Terms of Endearment is like a heart-wrenching, horrible, so sad movie. However, that has kind of turned into a little bit of a meme. And then also I always think, before I actually think Terms of Endearment, I actually think Arrested Development first, because Lucille, when Buster gets his hand cut off, have y'all watched Arrested Development?
I haven't.
Oh my God, y'all have to watch. It's so good. It's so funny. It's well worth the watch. I highly suggest at least the first 3 seasons. Those other Netflix seasons, you can pass on them. It's not a big deal, but the first 3 are so good. Anyway, Buster gets his hand bitten off by a seal, and he's in the hospital, and his mom, Lucille, is like, you need more juice. Where's your juice? Give my son the juice. It's a play on that. It's a play on Terms of Endearment, and I felt like give my son the drugs was a play on Terms of Endearment too. So anyway, I have this
needs
clip.
to give Pilar a sedative is what needs to happen.
Eve needs to give Pilar a sedative, 100%. I actually was surprised that she didn't offer one at all this week. I really was, because everybody was on edge, and so we're gonna watch Give My Son the Drug. My girl Pilar, bless her heart. I feel for her. I really do. This is kind of a long clip. So, but I wanted to give Pilar some screen time this week, because the actress Ava, she gives an incredible performance. She really does. Regardless of how I feel about what Pilar is saying, the performance is fantastic. It's beautiful, and it's gut-wrenching, and it's layered. Yeah.
As a parent, I understand her not wanting her child to die.
Right.
So I get that. And I get being like, fuck what he said. I want my child. At the same time, what kind of life is that?
What quality of life is your child going to have? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But I do empathize with what she's going through.
I do too. And after we watch her performance, I will talk more about it.
No, we can't listen to Antonio. He has to have that drug, Eve.
I agree with Mama. Or at least he'd have a chance, right, Dr. Russell?
Well, it's an experimental drug, so we don't know much, but
yes, I guess there's a chance he could be cured. Well, even if there's just a slight chance, we have to take it, because without it, he has no chance.
Sheridan, now this decision is yours and yours alone. You're his wife, you're his next of kin.
I don't know. I just don't know what to do.
What do you mean you don't know? You're going to give your husband a drug that could save his life. Could even cure him.
Ma, it's not that simple. Now, come on, you heard what Dr. Russell told us and what Antonio said. Now, if the drug doesn't work, he could end up in a coma for years. Antonio doesn't want that.
Yes. But it could save his life, and we all want that.
Of course we do. But there are risks.
I don't care. This is my son we're talking about. Your brother, Luis. We have to take any risks. We have to save his life. Eve, I'm Antonio's mother. Can't I give you permission to give him this drug?
If you weren't married, Pilar, you'd be next of kin, but he is married to Sheridan, and the spouse has the final word. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sheridan. Luis, I love you so much. You know that, don't you?
Yes, we know that.
I know this is hard on you. It's killing all of us. Sheridan, I am going to pray with my every breath that you tell Eve to give my son that drug.
Even if it means that Antonio could spend the rest of his life in a coma, unable to speak, unable to move, maybe imprisoned by a hospital bed.
I've heard of people in comas for years, and then they snap out of it. Maybe Antonio could snap out of it, too.
Well, Antonio wouldn't be the only one in prison, okay? Sheridan would be there right along with him.
May I remind you that Sheridan married Antonio, and she promised to love, honor, and cherish him in sickness and in health till death parts them.
I'm gonna pause real quick and I'm gonna say something, and y'all can chime in if you want. Pilar says, may I remind you, she married Antonio. And I get where she's coming from. I do. She says she promised to love, honor, and obey whatever in sickness and in health. Mm-hmm. Well, honor. She wants to honor his wishes. Hello? Yes. He wants her to not to give him that drug.
Exactly.
But, you know, Sheridan can't say anything. Well, she can, but she just doesn't want to say anything. But
and also, she knows that Sheridan married Antonio under duress. This was not out of love. And technically, she can get an annulment. They didn't consummate the marriage. Yeah. So under the eyes of God, she could still break it. Yeah. And then just leave him as a vegetable and just walk away. So that she could take care of him, because later on you'll say it. Pilar's willing to take care of him. She'll be on his side.
Yeah. Michelle?
Sorry, I swear I'm not trying to interrupt you. I promise. No, I was just gonna say, not just that, she technically already broke her vows, because part of your vows are to forsake all others. She has never let go of Luis. And Pilar knew this. It's actually one of the reasons why I was surprised that super religious Pilar pushed this so far, because like technically she'd be lying to God by saying that Antonio would be the only one she'd be with.
Well, maybe Pilar thought she really meant it. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Pilar knows that Sheridan married Antonio, honestly, partially due to Pilar's pressure, right? Yes. Like she had a big part in making sure that Sheridan stayed with Antonio. So it's really not that fair for her to bring up the marriage, but Sheridan's a big girl with free will, and she did marry Antonio.
She did. Only because she thought Luis backed out on them.
Regardless of what she thought, she never should have married Antonio, right? Like, it doesn't make sense if you don't want to be with him and you want to be with somebody else, regardless of, like, you have multiple times tried to go and break up with him, right? You shouldn't marry that person. I don't care what I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't. You shouldn't marry that person. But anyway, so Sheridan has made her bed. She is going to have to lie in it. But here we go.
So yes, I want my son to live, no matter what the price.
Mama. You know that this is Sheridan's decision to make. So please don't try and force her into anything, okay?
I can't help it. I love my son. I want him to live.
Well, we all want him to live. But not if Antonio can't be whole, not if he can't be the man that he's always been.
I'm sorry, but I will take Antonio any way that I can get him.
I want him to live too. But don't we have to pay attention to what Antonio wants? I mean, how can I do something that would doom him to a life that's no life at all?
But what if the drug works? What if it cures him?
Mama, Dr. Russell says that is a very big if.
How can you deny him that chance? How can you just pass?
Okay, actually, I want to say right there, she says, what if the drug works? What if it cures him? So I think that's why I was getting like, what is this drug? What the hell is this drug? Is it a cure? Is it a sustaining drug? Is it something that's going to like make him
This is the
better?
weirdest illness ever. Like, what drug do you need to take 30 minutes apart, or if not, you're in a fucking coma?
Yeah.
What kind of disease is this?
What the hell kind of disease is this? All right. But yeah, I was like, see, she said it. She says like it might cure him. But I don't know if that's what Eve has told her. I don't know.
Eve doesn't really go.
Oh wait, what, Michelle?
Oh, I was just saying, Eve doesn't go into specifics about it. She says, oh, there's just been this drug that's tested, and then Pilar immediately goes, I'll give it to him, but we don't know the name of the drug, how long it's been in testing, what the results have been, how much it costs, nothing.
I just know it's a cocktail, and we will get there. We will get there. Here we go.
And it's not the good kind. Give me a Cosmo instead.
Dr. Russell says that is a very big if.
How can you deny him that chance? How can you just pass up an opportunity to see your brother live?
Mama, stop it.
No,
okay?
Stop what? Trying to save my son's life? I will not do that. I can't.
Of course you can.
Well, how can you condemn Sheridan to a life of servitude?
Louise, please.
No, I want her to understand what she's doing. How can you expect Sheridan to take care of a man for the rest of her life who can't even love her, who can't give her happiness, who can't even give her children?
That's not what I want. Of course not. Sheridan, I want you to know right now that I promise you, if we give Antonio the drug and it doesn't cure him, I will relieve you of that burden. I will gladly take care of my son for the rest of my life.
I could never do that to
Don't
you.
you understand? My world is falling apart. My family is disintegrating. I want you and Luis to be happy. I do. But not at the expense of losing my Antonio. So I pray to God that you do the right thing here, and you tell Eve to give Antonio that drug.
Don't let her pressure you into a bad decision, Sheridan.
Wow. You are really willing to withhold the drug that could save your brother's life, maybe even cure him. Would you really be able to let your brother die?
Yeah. I would.
You're telling me that you would let your brother die. May God have mercy on you.
Mama, I'll handle this, okay? Guys.
I have never been more disappointed in you in my entire life. You of all people. A person who has risked his life many times of a stranger would not lift a finger to save his own brother. He's lying in there, unconscious, hovering someplace between life and death, with only his family to count on. And here you are, his trusted brother, literally sending him to his grave.
You don't understand.
Yes, I do. I understand all too well. You want him dead, and we all know why.
Do you see what you're doing to the family you claim to love, Sheridan? You're tearing them to shreds, just like I said you would. This is all your fault.
Okay. Thought?
I will say, knowing how highly religious she is, I get where she's coming from. Because a lot of Catholics will always choose anything for life. Like anything, vegetable, anything. Like they're not a pull the plug kind of people. You give God the chance to save you no matter what. So from the religious side, I get it. I get why she would fight so hard. There will be plenty of people on this earth, and we've seen plenty of cases like the Maria Shriver case. Keep them alive.
Yeah, I obviously disagree more on like moral grounds, right? But I also see what you're talking about. Like religiously, particularly with Catholics, they are very much all about life, huh? Like
All about life.
They're all about life.
From conception
they don't care about
to
the
death.
quality. They do not care about the quality of the life, but it is, just as long as your heart's beating. We need to keep your heart beating. I'm going to say, as a person, and I might get a little emotional, but as a person who watched her mother mourn two of her children, this week, watching Pilar kind of lose her shit, and I couldn't be mad at her for it. Like, I don't agree with I do not agree with the decision she wants to make or wants Sheridan to make, but I can't help but feel so deeply for her and see her point of view and see where she's coming from.
Yeah.
She, like I said, she thought her son, she didn't think he was dead, but she didn't know if he was alive. You know what I mean? For many years, she didn't have him. And she has been in this kind of suspended state of grief for her son for so long. And then he comes back into her life and she's overjoyed to have her son back. And now she is going to have to mourn his actual death, grieve him all over again. But this time, for real, there will be nothing to cling to. There won't be a candle to light in the window to hope he comes back, because she'll know for a fact that he's gone. And so, oh man.
My heart broke for her. It really did.
And there's more. Pilar is really giving, or Ava is giving an incredible performance the whole time. It's so heart-wrenching. And when she slapped Luis, I couldn't even be mad at her for it. He couldn't be mad at her for it, And honestly, I also want to applaud Luis as a character right now too, because he's saying all the exact right things. And he's also being an incredible partner to Sheridan. He is advocating on Sheridan's behalf and also on his brother's behalf, right?
Exactly.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing that also is probably gonna make me I didn't cry yet, but I'm getting choked up. My brother, before he passed away, he had another close call to death when we were younger. And he was in a coma for a little while. And it was awful. Seeing him like that was awful. And he was only like that for 2 days. I can't imagine day after day, month after month, year after year, going to visit your loved one in the hospital and they can't see you, they can't hear you, they're not there.
Yeah.
They're not there. And so while I can sympathize with Pilar to an extent, I really, really, really wish she would really give some thought to what quality of life do you want your son to have? And not only that, what has he told you he wants?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and to leave it to your family to have to make that decision for you is devastating. My family was put in that position from my mother-in-law, and it made me run and get my paperwork in order so that no one would have to go through that struggle, and it's laid out what I want. Yeah. Because it's horrible having to make that decision, especially when you're not quite sure what they want.
Yeah. So there's the emotion.
Louise said it. To throw the tears away, Louise said it. Pull the plug.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Michelle?
I was going to say, just for me watching it, like when I was listening to what Pilar said, I was really thinking if this was someone else's child, where would she be in this mindset? Because it was clear she wasn't really focused on it as like another person and listening to what this man was saying she wanted. This was clearly a mom who just wanted to hold on to her son. And I don't really see that she was really considering what that might mean.
No.
She had these simple answers. I mean, it's cool. I'll take care of him, Sheridan. You're good. You go do your thing. I'll take care of him. But she didn't seem to understand like what that would mean. Like, you're going to have to look at your son, who is really no longer your son, every single day for the rest of however long that life might be. And you're not going to know if he's in pain, if he's aware of what's happening. You're just not going to know.
Pilar is addicted to being a victim of her circumstances. She is. It is her, that is her status quo, right? Like being constantly worried about a child, a missing husband. I think it's so ingrained in her to be kind of like this pillar, for lack of a better word, of her family, right? That she's got to be the strong one that's making sure that everybody's like okay and staying alive, right? And I think she feels like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that work. I'm used to the pain. I'm used to the hurt. Yes, it will hurt, but I would rather have the hurt of like being here, watching him not be there, and his eyes are gone. There's nothing behind his eyes, than the pain of actually losing him. She won't accept it. She won't ever be able to accept his death. And I think she knows she will have a very hard time accepting his actual death. Particularly if she thinks that there was a chance. She'll never be able to let it go. She'll never be able to let it go.
Yeah. And it was a very selfless thing to offer, to be the one to be there for him. But we also know that Pilar would continually guilt Sheridan. Antonio's in the hospital. He can come out of it if you were next to him. Come to the hospital constantly. Come check on him. He's your husband. Like, you will take care of him, but you'll be guilting Sheridan constantly because you're going to hold on to the hope that Sheridan can bring him back out of it.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Yeah, I think that assessment is spot on. So yeah, Pilar is spinning out. She's having a hard time, understandably so. I also think that what she wants is incredibly selfish.
Yeah.
It's incredibly
As a mom,
selfish.
It's hard to blame her.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is also her firstborn child. Not to say that there's hierarchy with all of your children, but there's something about like your first that you struggle with because it's the first time you're a mother. Mm-hmm. And then for that one to then up and leave around the same time as your husband.
Yeah.
She has less time with this one.
Yeah.
Who left.
And I think you might have said this earlier too, that I think she definitely has some guilt around Antonio and his upbringing too. So
yeah. And this one probably reminds her the most of Martin. Because he's more Fitzgerald, than he is Lopez.
According to him.
Well, according to him.
According to him.
Mr. Bryan.
Yeah. So while Pilar is like spinning out on Luis, Beth is spinning a web of guilt and self-loathing for Sheridan, right? She goes to Sheridan, she whispers to her, "You see what you've done? You were so busy making googly eyes at Luis. You botched Antonio's medication schedule, and now he might die because of it. How does it feel to be exposed as the selfish witch that you really are?" Oh my God. Beth is starting to kind of emerge from the goo. I don't know. Like, you know, in the Matrix, when they're in the goo or whatever, in the little pods or whatever, I feel like Beth kind of is showing her true self. She's been like Matrix plugged in Beth, and now she's like pulling that thing out, and she's coming out of the goo, and she's just like covered in shit, and she is being as nasty as she possibly can, and I am loving it.
And I love that she does it not so that Luis can hear her, out of earshot.
Of course she does. Like, she's not a dumb girl. She's smart. She still wants her man.
Yeah.
She still knows now. But
go ahead.
I was gonna say, she knows that, like, even if Sheridan does tell, like, a week from now, she's like, yeah, Beth was like this, and Luis goes to her, she's like, I'm just so sorry. You know, I always cared about you and Antonio, and I was just so hurt by everything going on. I spoke before I thought, and Luis would fall for that in a heartbeat. So she chose the perfect timing to just let out, because, like, now she can, like, it was grief. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, because this can all be chalked up to tensions were running high. Everybody was on edge. Like, even Pilar was out of character. She hit Luis. You know, it can be chalked up to, I was just so worried about Antonio and this family that I love, that I think of my own family as my own family. So I agree. She chose this is the right time to do it. And as long as she's doing it she's finessed it in the correct way. She's doing it the right way. And Sheridan won't even speak up for herself. No. Let alone, like, bring up this whole other thing that's going on, right? Like, Sheridan's not gonna say anything. Sheridan is the kind of woman right now, she didn't used to be this way, but she's the kind of woman that you can, if you are kind of a bully, right? You can see the cracks and you know how to exploit them, right? She doesn't hide anything. Everything she wears her heart on her sleeve, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very easy for a woman like Beth, who is a master of wearing a mask and master of manipulating the people around her to believe a certain narrative about her, to lock on to Sheridan, find all her insecurities and exploit them, right? She learned from the best. She learned from her mother.
Yeah.
She really did.
Which I'm surprised Edna is not inserting herself a little bit.
To be fair to Edna, Edna just had a heart attack. She's not at tip top shape. She's not in tip top shape. She's not at 100%. She drops a couple little things here and there. She calls Beth a demon at one point.
Yeah, but like, she's keeping the conversations between her and Beth. Pilar would welcome Edna if she would have came to Pilar and be like, I'm on your side. Let's make sure he stays alive, you know, and do all that.
But see, Edna, that's not what Edna wants. Edna doesn't want Beth wants Sheridan to give him the drug, right? Because she thinks then Sheridan will be linked.
Edna should have taken the other side and been with Pilar.
No, Beth is on Pilar's side. You think Edna should have been with Pilar and Beth should have been with Pilar?
Oh, maybe I'm confused. No, you're right. I forget who wants the drug, who doesn't want the drug.
I know. Give my son the drug.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That's fucked up. Edna wants Antonio to die.
She's been wanting him to die. But you know what? Same girl. I agree.
Yeah.
I wanted him to die too.
Yeah. Love lost. She barely knows the guy.
Yeah. Oh, y'all, I'm going to take a quick little break because not a break, but I just got on my little Apple Watch. Karen and Kelly with an EY are like together. They sent a picture because, you know, Karen just moved to Michigan. So they're together. So Shout out Karen and Kelly. I hope y'all have a good time. All right, Pilar. Pilar's trying to pull herself together. She's getting there. She's finding it, okay? She apologizes to Luis for slapping him. She's like, I shouldn't have put my hands on you. She says she also apologizes for the hurtful things she said, like, you want your brother to die. Then Eve comes back because, I feel like all like bad things start at Eve. Like she's like the epicenter of so many bad things. Eve comes in, even though now we've kind of started to calm down. Eve was like, no, y'all are too calm. I got to gin this shit back up again. And she's like, okay, well, this drug, if you're going to give it to him, it needs to be administered immediately, right away. What the fuck kind of drug is this? What the fuck disease is this? Right? It needs to be administered right away.
Delicate, he should have been admitted weeks ago to be monitored and have a nurse administer these drugs. The one that Sheridan fucked up, like, he should have been in a hospital.
Yeah. If it's so crucial that you get your drugs right on time, I agree. It should be handled by a healthcare professional. So Eve tells them, we have to, if you're going to give him the experimental drug, we have to give it to him right now. There's no time to wait. There's no time to waste. And she turns to Sheridan and says, Sheridan, as his wife, it's all up to you. So Pilar again pleads with Sheridan to say yes to this experimental drug. We go round and round and round in circles over and over again about the same thing, back and forth. Pilar lays the Catholic guilt on thick. She says, sometimes marriages require a sacrifice. That's why the words in sickness and in health are in the vows. I know what Antonio said on the tape. Of course, he loves you and he didn't want to cause you any difficulty, but you are his wife and it is your duty to take care of him no matter what. Sheridan at no point speaks up for herself, but Luis does. And he really steps up really well, advocating for really Sheridan and Antonio. And he tells his mother, you're making a terrible decision even harder to make. And he says, imagine the hell of being trapped in a shell, paralyzed, desperate to communicate your thoughts, even though you can't. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't think you would either, mama. And Pilar says, where there's life, there's hope.
It's the pro-life thing.
It is. Where there's life, there's hope. And medicine is finding cures all the time. Your brother wanted to live badly enough to marry Sheridan. That's not okay. She said he had hopes and dreams for a future with the woman that he loves. And the least that we and Sheridan can do is to give those hopes and dreams a chance. She keeps whacking her. I'm just going to say that. She just keeps whacking Sheridan over the head with the guilt, the shame. You're his wife. You should be taking care of him. Like, you shouldn't let him die. He had hopes and dreams to be with you. And then this is when Eve, she eventually chimes in and says, Sheridan, I don't want to add pressure, but Antonio is my patient and I am the executrix of his living will. And you have to understand that if you choose to give Antonio the drug, I need to know that you're committed to staying with him if he becomes incapacitated. Do you remember what Antonio said on the tape? That he only wants to live if he thinks you're going to be there with him. That even if he was in a coma, he'd be able to sense whether you were there or not. Eve, you're not helping.
No.
That was
that's
unhelpful.
Also none of your business what she does on a personal level. Either give the drug or not. That's your only concern. Why the fuck are you so concerned about what she's going to do after he's a vegetable?
You are the one who told her to leave him a day ago.
That not even a day ago. Wasn't this? Isn't this their wedding night?
It is. You're right. This is their wedding.
This was earlier today.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This was earlier today. You are absolutely right. Oh my God. It's still New Year's Eve. Oh my gosh. Okay. Also, I want to say these episodes aired like we're like almost 20 years to the, not 20 years, whatever. We're almost caught up to where they were. Like it was January 20th.
Yes.
This was the week of January 20th. So I was like, oh, this is kind of, it's kind of cool that we kind of ended up syncing up with the actual air dates. But anyway, yeah, she's not helping. Eve's not being very helpful at all. She's only making a bad situation worse. And she just continues to pressure Sheridan to make a decision. Beth is just like over the moon, elated that no matter what she says, no matter what happens here, no matter what Sheridan chooses, she feels that she will get Luis, right? Because if Sheridan chooses to give him the drug and he lives, then she'll be stuck taking care of him for the rest of her life. And if she doesn't give him the drug and Antonio dies, then the family is never going to be able to forgive her. Her and Luis will never end up being able to stay together because his family issues will come between them. And I think she has it's a solid theory. I think it's a solid theory. I think Luis can say all he wants that he would give up his family for Sheridan. I don't know that that's what he would actually do. But I think he wouldn't. I don't think it would even come to that because I think Pilar would just move on. I think she would always hold some animosity for Sheridan, but I don't think she would hold enough animosity to the point where she's making Luis choose between her or Sheridan. You see what I mean? Because it's like, then you're going to lose another son. What?
I can't see Sheridan though, just like pushing Luis away on her own though, like her own guilt, because Sheridan's always felt guilty. Like even back to her mom, like Alistair somehow had in her head that she was responsible for her mom's death. So she's carried that with her entire life. So like you see it with how she blames herself for Antonio's illness. You saw it with like the Martin fiasco, and like I feel like you would see it come into play. Like, if he were to die, she'd be like, oh, not Luis. Like, I can't. I already betrayed him by killing him. Like, I can't betray him further going with his brother.
I think you make an excellent point, and I think I agree with you, and I think that's exactly what Beth is expecting. And I think that's the angle she's working. I think you're right. It would never come down to Luis. It would come down to Sheridan. And the fact that her guilt wouldn't let her be with Luis. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, Eve's not helping. She pressures Sheridan to make a decision. Then Pilar, I have another clip because Pilar did a great job this week. I didn't agree with what she was saying, but I was really enthralled in the performance. I really was.
No, she got to me.
Yeah, because Pilar's like, Sheridan, what's the problem? What's the holdup? I don't understand what the problem is. Why are you hesitating to give Antonio this drug? You're his wife. You have the power to give him life. Now, please save my son. So I have a clip called Yes or No, Sheridan.
The situation is, and I want to save Antonio, but it is not that simple.
Yes, it is. It is that simple. It's a simple question. Life or death?
No, Pilar, it's not that simple. As a matter of fact, it's terribly complicated.
Really? How? All Sheridan has to say is yes or no.
Because the decision that she makes could affect the rest of her life.
Her life? She shouldn't be thinking about her life. Is that what's going on, Sheridan? Huh?
No.
Are you hesitant to give Antonio this drug? Because you know that if he becomes a vegetable, you will be tied to him for as long as he lives, and that means that you will not be able to be with Luis? Well, you can't think about that right now, Sheridan, because you married Antonio. Now, you are his wife, and you cannot let him die because you want to be with his brother.
I am not a bad person. I would never let Antonio die just so that I could be with Luis.
You wouldn't?
No.
Oh, thank God. So you're going to say yes to this drug, then?
I didn't say that. Did not.
Is that true, Sheridan? Have you decided to give Antonio the drug?
No.
You won't give Antonio
No, I haven't decided yet.
Sheridan, no.
Mama, would you let her think?
Your brother is dying. There is no time to think.
I want to honor Antonio's wishes.
Well, then tell Eve to go ahead and give my son the drug.
Antonio didn't make it clear as to what he wanted, whether or not he wanted to spend the rest of his life incapacitated.
Of course he made...
He did make it clear. He did make it clear. This is what's driving me. This is what kind of drove me crazy this week, is that he was very, like I said, keep that in mind, what I read to you like 2 or 3 times. He made it very clear. Sheridan, don't give me the drug. Let me go, Sheridan. Let me die. He said it so many times. For once, he actually said the right thing.
And said, I do not want to live my life if I'm a vegetable. He said it.
Yeah.
Pilar is grasping at anything. That's really what she's not hearing anymore. She's not listening. All she wants is for her child to live.
She's not having rational thoughts. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Made it clear.
Also, I know there's a big storyline going on, but I just noticed, have they just been keeping his sheet open to where anyone could see him if they walk by?
Yeah, I think so.
They don't care about HIPAA on this show.
Yeah. All right.
Because they're discussing his hair in the middle of the freaking lobby, you know? It's like, they don't care in this house.
There is no HIPAA in the Passions universe.
It is what it is. No privacy.
Time to think.
I want to honor Antonio's wishes.
Well, then tell Eve to go ahead and give my son the drug.
Antonio didn't make it clear as to what he wanted, whether or not he wanted to spend the rest of his life incapacitated.
Of course he made it clear. He said that he would risk taking this experimental drug no matter what happened. As long as you were by his side, he wanted to live.
I didn't hear that.
That's the option I choose.
No, Mama. This is not what Antonio said. Not exactly. He said that he did not want to be a burden to Sheridan.
Listen to me, son. You too, Sheridan. Antonio was being selfless. He said that he would sacrifice his life and his chance at being cured so that Sheridan would not have to take care of him.
Yes, he was being selfless when he said that to Sheridan.
Right. And now it's her turn. And she should be just as selfless as Antonio and give him this drug, give him a chance at life. Even if it costs you your chance to be with Luis.
Mama, it's Sheridan's decision, okay? Antonio wants it that way, and you pressuring her like this isn't helping.
Isn't helping? Your brother is in there, lying, dying.
Oh, you don't just stop it! This is my decision. And I want to do what's best for Antonio, and all you're doing is making this harder for me, so stop telling me what to do.
I miss this Sheridan.
That's real cute, Sheridan, but that's not going to stop shit.
I want to do what's best for you, Antonio. No matter what they think or say, I know I can make the right decision. I know I can.
I think I can.
Sheridan, do what's best for the Passions audience.
Yeah.
Pull the plug.
Pull the plug. She don't have to pull. There's no plug to pull. All they have to do is nothing. All they have to do is nothing.
Just to quick it up, because if not, you're gonna have to let nature finish it off. Let's hurry it along.
Honestly, Sheridan, let them keep on talking and talking until they hear that boom, beep, and then it's not her fault because they didn't shut up. Like
they'll make it her. Pilar will definitely make it her fault. Pilar knew what she wanted to do immediately.
And also, like, why is Pilar even bringing up what Antonio said? You literally said, "Don't listen to what he said. Do what I want."
Basically, yeah.
Like, that was your first response. Like, I don't care what he said on that tape. Give him the drug.
Right.
So stop it with the whole, he was being selfless. You didn't give a fuck what he said.
She decided to cite one thing, and she didn't even like quote it correctly. Like that is not what he said. And I'm glad that Luis called her on it. She's like that. He's like, that's not exactly what he said.
Also, when we go back to the videotape, I mean, it's on tape. Go get the tape. Play the tape again.
Roll the tape.
Roll the footage.
Yeah.
Even himself said when he brought up the idea of Sheridan staying with him, He did say, but that would be selfish of me. So, like, I don't, like, she's completely ignoring so much of the bigger aspect of it.
She has chosen to take one piece that confirms her bias, right? One piece that will help her case, will help her argument. But the rest of it, if it doesn't confirm her argument, if it doesn't confirm her bias, it's garbage. Frankly, a lot of people do that. That's part of the reason we're in such a horrible space politically right now. People will see the full picture of something and zoom in on just one singular little piece of it that confirms what they already believe, and then just negate every fucking thing else and say, well, that doesn't matter because it doesn't help confirm what I already believe. So yeah,
confirmational bias. That's what it's called.
Confirmation bias. And Pilar is a conservative, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, wait, we shouldn't make that assumption. She's just religious. Not all religious people are conservative.
Well, she has very conservative ideas about abortion. She has very conservative ideas about, in this situation, with if we keep him alive, even though he's not having any kind of quality of life. These are very conservative ideals. Now, she might not be, there might be tenets of conservatism, especially currently, that she would not agree with. But I think we can say, in the context of 2003, Pilar is a conservative. She is. She's a very conservative woman. And that doesn't mean she's a Republican. That doesn't mean she's a Republican specifically. She's just conservative. She's definitely conservative. Yeah. So where was I? Oh. So yeah, Pilar does not let up demanding that Sheridan give Antonio that drug, even though Sheridan was like, leave me alone. She finally said something, you know?
Yeah, but for a second.
But you saw how they followed her. Yeah, you saw they followed her in there. You're not gonna get. You won't be getting a moment's peace, my love. Until you say yes or no. So Pilar comes in to like give her another piece of her mind. And Pilar says to Sheridan, my son was raised in the church. He would want to live. It's a sin to give up on life. Your son was raised in the church, but he left you to became a gigolo somewhere. So
that's also true.
Okay. So let's not use his church upbringing to say what he would or wouldn't want, because he did a lot of things. He's done a lot of things that are against the teachings of the church, right?
Yeah. Not only that, it's on tape. He said to let me die.
It's on tape.
Roll that beanbag footage.
He did. He did. She then says it is also a sin to give up on a life that can be saved. Why can't you people see that? The church says that we have to do everything we can possibly do to save a life. I don't care if my son is incapacitated or in a coma. At least he'd be alive. At least we would have some hope for a cure. And medical science is doing all kinds of miraculous things these days. They could find a cure for my son tomorrow, and then I could have my son back. We could all have Antonio back. What if you let Antonio die, and then the next day they find a cure for his disease? How would you feel about that, Sheridan? Girl, they haven't even named this disease. They haven't even named this disease. There will be no cure tomorrow. I can guarantee you that. Although I don't know, it is passion. So apparently this experimental drug might possibly cure him. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Yeah, I hated that speech. Hated it. Despised it completely. And like I said, I have some sympathy for Pilar, but she really was pushing it a little far for me right there.
I don't agree with it, but she is definitely taking the very, very Catholic stance.
Yeah, it's a very Catholic stance, particularly the I don't care if my son is incapacitated or in a coma. Ugh, yuck. It's just like a bad sentence. Maybe if she said like, even if he has to be in a coma or incapacitated, like, it wouldn't be great. I wouldn't be happy about it, but he would still have some life. Saying I don't care if my son is incapacitated or in a coma, to me, the words really matter. Those words really, really mean something to me, and I didn't like that little
She's
speech.
not going to be the most articulate person at this moment. Her emotions are running amok.
I know, but that's, God, I don't care if my son's incapacitated or in a coma is, yikes. It's, God. I feel like those aren't easy words to let come out of your mouth. You know what I mean? I don't know. They wouldn't be the first words that came to my head, but I'm not Pilar. I'm not Pilar,
And she's willing to take care of Antonio in that way. What she should do is ask Sheridan to every once in a while bring the clothes on so that Pilar can put them on, and she can put on a blonde wig, and Antonio can feel like Sheridan is there every single day.
Because it's just the blonde hair. That's all it is.
That is, it's just the blonde hair.
We have to grow. Sheridan has to grow her hair out, specifically cut it and then make a wig for Pilar.
Yeah.
Out of Sheridan's real hair, because he will know.
Yeah.
He will know. He fell in love with the golden strand.
Well, they both did. They fought over a strand of hair.
We fought over her strand. This little girl's golden strands.
Oh,
I feel like that's the sign of a serial killer, though. I'm sorry.
Agreed. Okay, so yeah, Pilar, they haven't even named this disease. There will be no cure, girl.
You know who would be by his side every single day?
Who?
Liz.
Liz.
Sorry, the name just couldn't come out. Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Liz would be by his side every single day. She could wear the wig, and
especially since Eve works at the hospital, so it's two birds, one stone, right? Like she can be there to torment Eve, and she can be by Antonio's side. I think we solved it.
There you go.
Somebody call Liz. I think we figured this one out.
Exactly. Forget about TC, who is basically a walking vegetable, and go to the other vegetable.
Oh my gosh. So Sheridan is trying to think, of course, right? She's got a tough decision to make. It's not that tough, but it is a tough decision. Beth corners her again and very quietly bullies her again and says, "Look at them. Poor Pilar, Luis, Miguel, the anguish on their faces. You have to give Antonio that drug. If you don't, you know he'll die, Sheridan. And Luis's entire family will have no one to blame but you for his death. Can you let that happen? Can you really live with Antonio's blood on your hands?" Yes, I can. I could do that. But not Sheridan, I guess. But then Pilar comes back to whack Sheridan some more too. Sheridan is just getting beat. It's like they have Gwen's figurative baseball bat, beating her with that shit. Because Pilar comes back and she's like, "Sheridan, what do I have to do to persuade you? Can't you see that giving my son that drug is the right thing and the merciful thing?" She says it's the merciful thing. Girl, that is I think it's the cruelest thing. If there's a 98, 99% chance that he will be in a coma, incapacitated for the rest of his life, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's not like a mercy. The mercy would be calling it a day, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would be the mercy on everyone.
It'd quite literally be a mercy killing. Let's let him go.
And the audience. Could someone think of the audience?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, what about us?
What about us? What about what we want?
What about us? What about us? Yeah. So Sheridan says that she doesn't think that Antonio would want to live his life as a vegetable. They use that word so much. I don't like it. I think it's so icky. She doesn't think he would want to live his life as a vegetable. And Pilar says, "Is that it, girl?" She's like, "Is that it? Or maybe you're just not sure. You want to spend the rest of your life taking care of your husband." You damn right, bitch. I didn't even want to fucking marry him. No, I don't want to spend the rest of my life taking care of him. No. I didn't even want to marry him. And you fucking know that.
Exactly. And Antonio's the type of selfish asshole that even if, like, let's say he woke up but he can't move, he's gonna be like, Sheridan, could you climb on me? I have a heart on. You know you want to. Could you please? I just want my beautiful bride on me. I want to hold you and feel you.
Oh my God, that's so nasty.
But I'm not wrong.
Oh my God. Well, I
just want to be with my bride. I just want to be with my bride. And I can't do anything, so you're going to have to do all the work.
You know she already been doing all the work anyway. You know she's already been putting in more work than he ever did.
Well, I don't think they've slept together since she's gotten back to Harmony. She's been able to avoid it.
Yeah, since they've been back to Harmony, they have not slept together. That is true.
So she hasn't done any work. She was putting in the work so many times.
She was putting in the work to avoid him. She was putting in work. She was putting in work.
That's true. That is true.
She was.
Avoid it.
So Pilar, again, she just is like, give my son the drug. That might be the episode title. Give my son the drug.
Yeah.
Give my son his life. And Sheridan asks them to stop badgering her. She needs to think. I want to do what's best for Antonio. And Eve then says, well, I'm just going to go ahead and prepare the experimental drug cocktail just in case Sheridan decides that she wants to give him the drug. So she's going to prepare the cocktail. Here's the thing. Wouldn't that then, in turn, if she decides not to do it, just be a huge waste of medicine that I imagine is very, very, very valuable, you know?
And rare, because it's still in an experimental phase.
Yeah, can you even... You know what?
You can't.
We've been talking about this for 2 hours already, so I'm not gonna like digress onto this, but there are, I have so many thoughts about this, whatever this experimental drug is, like if it's a medical trial, if there's data that's supposed to be collected, if he had to be admitted into some sort of program. I have so many questions about it. How do you even have access to this, like these drugs, if this disease that he has is so incredibly rare, and B, it's like you have been saying over and over again that there's no cure, there's nothing for him. Where did these drugs come from? Right? Like, yeah, I don't know.
And he knew about it. So if he really wanted to take it, he would have just taken it when she told him about it. Not wait until he's in a coma.
That's the other thing.
Be like, maybe give it to me. Sheridan, you tell me if I should take it.
Exactly. What is this drug? What was how was it meant to be administered? Right? Is it an actual like medication that if he had been taking it maybe would have been making him better? Or is it a medication that Eve told him about and told him, yeah, when you're really, really, really close to death, we could maybe give you this drug and it might save your life and it might cure you, but you have to be really, 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 really close to death first, right? Because that's what it seems like to me now, is like that this drug, he knew about this drug, but it was like, oh, but it's not time to take it yet.
Yeah.
I don't
know. And then the emotional blackmail.
Say that again, Michelle.
How do they know he's even a candidate? Because with experimental drugs, you have to get blood work and they have to do all these appointments. You have to meet with people like a bunch of times to know, like, okay, yes, you're a candidate for it. No, you're not.
That's
like,
exactly what I'm saying.
What's happening? Which makes him a bigger asshole, because he must have did all that to at the end say, but I'm going to leave it up to Sheridan, because it's almost like to say, I want to be able to prove that my bitch of a wife really loves me. Let me test her ass. Because why are you not making decisions on your own fucking care?
Girl, you know what? Why are you not making decisions on your own fucking care? Like, and why is this the first Sheridan's hearing of it? Why is this the first anybody's hearing about this? You know? I agree. So whatever. where was I? Eve was gonna go make the cocktail. Let's see. She was gonna go prepare.
Make me a Cosmo while you're at it.
Yeah, she was gonna go.
You want a sedative?
The audience needed
your nerves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
serious.
gonna go get the drugs. Yeah, Sheridan says she's gonna go pray about it, and then Pilar says, I hope that the Lord says to you what I've been saying all along. Give my son that drug. Give him a chance at life. And I was like, girl, I feel like y'all are fighting God's will so goddamn hard. They've been fighting God's will tooth and nail.
Yeah.
If it be God's will, and it seems to be his will that this man dies.
Yeah,
Let him
he's
die.
literally
Any kind
I
of
didn't
intervention.
say that.
Like any kind of intervention, I think at this point is you going against God's will. You know what I mean? So anyway,
God tried to kill him multiple times. They won't listen.
that's what I'm saying. They won't listen.
True.
They will
That's
not
true.
listen. God keeps telling y'all, I want to bring my child home, right? But what do I know? I'm just a godless heathen.
Yeah, stupid Eve bringing him back to life.
Oh, Eve. God, the villain. She's such a villain. Anyway, I'm done with this. Basically, they go back and forth. Pilar has another speech, but it's the same old. She does accuse Luis of wanting Sheridan not to give the drug to Antonio, saying like, you want your brother dead? Do you want whatever? We've done this before. They've talked about this before, so it's not. In my opinion, it wasn't really that important. I took it down, but we've been talking about this for a long time.
Same old.
Yeah.
Was it this week or last week where Beth was praying and like things got weird?
It was last week.
That was last week. Okay,
It was great,
so
though.
see, it was good. So
Yeah.
God was talking to Beth.
Yeah.
He's not talking to Sheridan.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say, for some reason, Hank is at the hospital trying to give moral support to these people when he should be out in the snow looking for his niece. Hello?
Yes.
Kay is missing,
Yes.
y'all. Hank got his ass at the hospital trying
But
to
he
help
might not
leave.
know what's going on because I'm
Well, that's
pretty
my
sure
thing. Why
if
hasn't
Miguel
Sam
knew,
called
he
him?
would also leave.
Well, that's the thing. And we'll get there eventually, but I just don't understand why Hank, in these episodes in particular, I feel like it's just like sloppy work that Hank doesn't know about. I feel like Sam would have called Hank pretty much immediately. You know,
Yeah.
it's an all hands on deck kind of situation. He maybe wouldn't have called Miguel because of the tension between him and Miguel, but I definitely think he would have called Hank. So it's not important. I just felt like it was one of those little passions-isms that kind of gets under my skin.
Passions did it so that they can rev up that tension between Sam and David.
Because Kay is dying in the snow, y'all.
Oh,
and yeah, maybe they wanted to add that little. I mean, but I still feel like he would have just showed up at some point, Hank. And
maybe he does.
Because Sam and David can still. I mean, they need all the help they can get right now. Even though Kay is not 15 steps from her home. She does not get far at all. But we will get there in part 2. In part 2, I believe. Yeah. So that's all I have for the Sheridan and Luis storyline. Y'all have anything to add before we move on?
No, I think my last quote was, once again, because Eve keeps saying, you need to make a decision. If you choose to give Antonio the drug, are you going to stay with him? Why does that matter? And I've already said it, so I'm saying it again, because that's, I think, was the last scene on that whole storyline. What's that caveat for?
And what business is it of Eve's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, focus on your own marriage, Eve.
Yeah, truly.
Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Truly.
I just remember thinking, watching this whole storyline, because Pilar, like, her big thing is, oh, he's your husband. You have to make sacrifices in your marriage. The marriage was Sheridan's sacrifice. You know this.
Right.
What more do you want her to give?
Yeah, everything. They want everything from her. Pilar wants everything.
Yeah.
All right.
He wants everything Antonio wanted. So Antonio wanted Sheridan, so it was like sacrifice here.
Yeah. and we've had this conversation before. We've talked about it a little bit before, but it does get under my skin sometimes, the fact that Pilar it clearly has a preference for Antonio. She gives him preferential treatment over Luis. And to a small extent, I get it. Like, he's been gone for a long time. He's her firstborn son. He's sick now. Okay. However, Luis is your son who's been in the mud with you for years. And you don't really, you're not considerate of his feelings and his thoughts and his opinions.
No. And you know who was selfless? Luis was selfless. He left his fiancée for your family, Pilar, because your husband left you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Very
so
true.
It's not
and Luis
Antonio the unselfless one. Luis was the unselfless one.
Luis has also been being selfless in this whole situation. He could have blown this up at any point, and he didn't.
That's also true. Yeah.
You know, it was not in his best interest to keep this secret, but he did anyway. So, and whether I agree with that or disagree that's a different conversation. I'm not going to relitigate that again. But he didn't do that for himself. He wasn't keeping that secret for himself. It wasn't, like I said, not in his best interest. So, all right, let's talk about what's going on with Chad and Whitney. Chad and Whitney and Simone. This is going to be quick. We're going to do Chad, Whitney, and Simone. Then we're going to follow them home to see what's going on with TC. So, the kids show up. We're already home. The kids have had a car accident. They ran into a snow embankment. They walked home. It doesn't matter, but they were almost home. They were coming from the Bennett home, which is like, I don't know, 3 doors down, whatever. Because they all live on the same block. Anyway, they had a car accident. So the kids go upstairs to try and tell TC and Eve, whom they think are alone together, having like a romantic night, to tell them about the car. And Chad is about to knock on the door, and then Whitney stops, saying, no, actually, maybe we shouldn't interrupt our parents' private time. I know I would hate to be interrupted at a time like that, wrapped in my man's arms, cuddling. To which Simone retorts, how do you know how important cuddling is after making love? You don't even have a boyfriend.
Damn.
And Whitney's like, well, I read it in a magazine or something.
Oh, my God.
And then they just go back and forth about whether they should wake the parent or like interrupt the parents or not. And they eventually decide not to, right? Because Chad, well, it doesn't matter. They eventually decide not to. Chad then remembers, oh no, I left my CD and my equipment in the car, and I need to go back and get that stuff. Like, that CD is very important to me. So I think it's the CD that Whitney made for him for Christmas. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
And so of course Simone is like, oh, I'll come with you, Chad. Insists on going with, and so of course Whitney follows behind, and so they all walk back out into the storm and go back to the car. And at one point Simone is like, I gotta stay close to my man. Like,
oh, she was so clingy.
I won't let anything come between us, Chad. And so they get to the car, and then Simone says to Whitney while Chad is getting his things, and did I clip this or not? I don't think I did. Oh, I did clip this.
Okay, I wonder if it's the transcript that I wrote, because there was an interesting conversation.
I can't stop thinking about Kay and Jessica's fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, they actually brought it up.
Yeah, I clipped
we've all been talking about that for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, I clipped this, so we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch this little clip of Simone and Whitney's conversation at the car and the things that happened subsequently.
Whitney, you didn't have to come with us. Well, I couldn't let my little sister go out in this snowstorm without keeping an eye on her. How could I?
You guys just give me a minute. I'm gonna get my stuff.
You know, I can't stop thinking about Kay and Jessica's fight. I mean, it must be awful for one sister not to be able to count on another sister. Sisters should stand by one another, not stab each other in the back. Like Jessica stealing Reese away from Kay. I mean, how low was that?
But Kay never loved Reese.
Then why didn't Jessica just tell her how she felt? You know, instead of going behind her back.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Jessica didn't want to run the risk of hurting Kay.
So she betrayed her instead? The worst thing that a sister can do to another sister is betray her.
Okay, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to pause here because it's been a while since I liked what Simone was saying. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of glad to get some of the old Simone back, a little bit of like that sharp edge of I know what's going on. I like that.
Yeah.
I've said over and over again that I do not agree with her assessment of this situation, which is that Whitney is trying to steal Chad from her when she has seen over and over and over again Chad and Whitney. It takes two to make a thing go right? It takes two.
Yep.
And so I don't like that the betrayal is squarely laid at Whitney's feet and never at Chad's. However, what she said there is so good. And Whitney, I wish Whitney would pick. Now it's by a vowel Whitney, right? Now it's by a vowel Whitney. Get a clue, Whitney, because it's obvious to me Simone knows what's going on between you and Chad. It's clear. How could she not? How could she not?
Exactly. And I'm kind of glad someone finally said this because everyone has been excusing it as, well, Kay didn't really love him. It doesn't matter. It should matter. Just like it should matter to Grace, it should matter to everyone that Jessica took Reese and didn't say anything.
And it has come up a couple of times, and wait, go ahead, Michelle.
I was gonna say, like, it honestly kind of made me a little bit more annoyed with Simone though, because while I do agree with what she said, why did you never say those words to Jessica? Like, you have no problem telling Kay when you think she's wrong, despite the fact that you're doing the same exact shit now. But you have not said one word to Jessica like, hey, maybe you should apologize to your sister because regardless of the situation, you did go behind her back. Exactly. Not one.
Yeah. Especially that she goes so hard on Kay. Yeah. And what Kay's doing.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have words for Jessica.
Yeah. I feel a little less sorry for her about Kay slapping her now because...
Well, when Kay slapped her, that was way out of left field. At the time, it was ridiculous. I hated that. And I still am like, that's too far between these two girls. But but I think I agree with you, Michelle. Like, why haven't you said that to Jessica? But I also know the answer to why she hasn't said it to Jessica. It's because she doesn't really give a shit about that. She doesn't actually give a shit about it. She was using it as an example to like show to Whitney, hey, this thing happened between those two sisters. And it's a betrayal similar to the one that you are perpetrating against me.
Yeah. And there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. Technically, Kay and Jessica aren't actually fighting about it. Because Kay's like, I don't give a fuck. You know, like.
Well, Kay has brought it up. The thing is, Kay did yell in the last week. Maybe that episode hasn't come out yet. Kay does bring that up in like they have like this big kind of family argument, and Kay kind of turns to Jessica and is like, yeah, well, you stole Reese from me. And Jessica's like, well, you didn't even like him, you didn't want him. She's like, it doesn't matter. You betrayed me, and yet I'm the bad guy in everybody's eyes. Right.
And I think she did say that already. And again, like your point, why are the women never having any heat for the guys?
Never, ever. It's one of the things I really, really despise about this show, actually. But it also shines a very glaring light on how young women, young girls, because like I was young watching this, how we end up with the messaging that like, girl, you can't trust girls, you can't trust women. Like people talk about how, believe women, trust women. The reason we have to say those things is because we were programmed not to. Mm-hmm. We've been programmed not to. And when you're young, you don't even see the programming. And honestly, if I hadn't unlearned so many things over the course of the last, 20 years, I might still see this and be like, yeah, those girls, they're so awful. The guys are great. We are fed as young girls the messaging in so many different ways that men are good, women are bad, men are strong, men are providers, men are, a prize to be won. That's what we get fed. Men are a prize to be won, and women are going to have to fight for this very rare, very special resource. Yeah. And it's simply not true. It's simply not true. And I love that we can go back and analyze this in this way. And it's one of the things that I despise about the show, but I also kind of appreciate going back and seeing how far we've come from that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we go with the rest of this nonsense. Simone.
Chad, let's have a snowball fight.
No, Simone, it's gonna get snow on my equipment.
Not if we're careful. Simone, no. Watch out! Oh my God, Simone!
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh, were you gonna say something?
That whole thing annoyed the fuck out of me as to Chad not going, this is a fucking child. We're in a fucking snowstorm. I'm actually even telling you I don't want to get snow in my equipment. Let's do a snowball fight. Are you 10? You should not be allowed to even have a boyfriend right now. You really should not.
He's in a tuxedo. The girls have changed their clothes, but he's still in a tuxedo. We have had a very rough night. They had a car accident. They were over at the Bennett's and dealing with all of that. It's been he had to drive in this horrible snowstorm. He's probably on edge. And girl, no, I do not want to have a snowball fight. And it was just so funny. She throws the one snowball.
One snowball up in the air. And he's carrying girlfriend, could we go back to the house? We could do it at the house.
Child.
If you want to have a romantic, fun, snowball-y, whatever.
Simone, Simone's a mess.
That just
she
felt
only gets
so
worse.
Juvenile to me. So juvenile. I was
and it's crazy.
You should not have a boyfriend right now. You should be having cocoa with marshmallows.
And cinnamon. Don't forget the cinnamon.
And cinnamon.
So, I appreciate it, to an extent, what Simone was saying to Whitney earlier, but, everything after that point, I hate it, so.
Big fast! She'll suffocate, we don't find her soon.
Oh my God. I can't lose my baby sister. I just can't. Simone!
I found her.
Oh, thank God.
Come on, Simone.
Oh, good God. Chad, you saved my life.
Whitney helped.
But you're the one who pulled me out of the snow. You're the one who saved me from freezing to death.
She's so
Look, what's important is you're all right.
Look, that makes 2 close calls tonight. I think we should get home before anything else bad happens, okay?
Whitney's right.
It has been freezing. Are you all right? I am freezing now that you mentioned it. Would you mind carrying Chad's things so he can stay as close to me as possible? I really need his body heat.
We're back in the snow.
You beautiful idiot.
Yeah.
Simone saying, "Oh, can you carry Chad's things so that I need his body?" Girl, you were under the snow for 0.5 seconds, please.
Thank you. And it was
fine.
loose.
We're all fucking cold. Are you kidding?
Yeah. And it was loose though. It wasn't compact or anything like that. It was loose.
She's fine, but also she's trying to get back at her sister.
Heat works. That's not how body heat works.
It's not. What do you mean?
they wearing coats. Like, it has to be like
that
skin to skin.
I see what you're saying. I think she was just like, maybe his body heat would emanate out, maybe, or just like him covering her would give her more cover.
Exaggerating.
She definitely is exaggerating. She is taking the opportunity to try and get close to Chad, but to the point that you made earlier about her being so immature and being like just a juvenile. Are you 10? That is such a, immature thing to do, and it's not going to work. Like her the way she thinks is childlike, is childish.
Very childish. And you know what's the most worst thing about the whole thing?
Yeah, what?
He now has snow on his equipment.
It was in cases. It'll be fine. It'll be. It was gonna have snow on it regardless. It's a blizzard outside, Chad. Okay, Michelle has made it back. Michelle's made it back. Okay, so after the snowball fight and all of that nonsense, they head back to the house, obviously. And when they get back, Simone insists on spending some quality alone time with Chad, and says they can sit by the fireplace. And she's like, I'm going to go make us some tea. Girl, you are the one who got like avalanched, right? Like, shouldn't he make you some tea? But don't you see that he never wants to do anything for you? Nope. And he tries to protest, like, no, I need to go home, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, it's a storm outside. You have to stay here. She really just steamrolls him. And then she goes to the kitchen to make them some tea or cocoa. I can't remember. And while she's gone, Whitney and Chad embrace each other immediately, right? And in the middle of the living room, which, if you're really trying to do this thing where you're keeping this secret from Simone, maybe don't start cozying up as soon as she turns her back inside of the home where she lives, right? Where she definitely will be able to see you. So anyway, they hug up. Whitney's like, oh, Chad, I just need you so much. And, of course, Simone comes back. She made that tea in like lightning speed time. She made it so fast. I didn't know water boiled that damn fast, but she made it back
surprised
so
she
quickly.
didn't tell Whitney to go do it. She told her to carry the equipment. Why not just tell her, go make me some tea?
I think because in her childlike mind, and also not for nothing, in like the passions world, part of what makes you a girlfriend or a wife is that you dote on and you serve your husband or boyfriend, right? And I think she maybe her love language is acts of service, even though he's not doing any acts for her. No. But that's what she wants to do for him because she thinks it is her duty. She feels it's her duty to be serving him, unfortunately. Oh, God. I can't wait till we get past this stuff with Simone. I really cannot wait. But yeah, she comes back with her little servant's tray and she's standing, clearly in the periphery. She couldn't be 5 feet from them. She couldn't have been 5 feet from them. And she's standing there watching them and she's upset. She's like seething. She's like, Whitney. So that's where we leave it with them. Anything to add?
Simone's stupid. Just stupid.
She's a child.
I'm bored. I'm bored of her.
On the one hand, I think they are flirting with something sort of interesting, which is for Simone to turn the tables on her sister, who is lying to her, right? Betraying her. And she knows it. But I don't like the caveat where it's like she's doing this in pursuit of Chad, who clearly is deceiving her and betraying her too. Right?
I would enjoy this storyline more if she recognized that Chad is just as culpable and was doing things just to mess them up. Like, not that she wants him back, but there's no way in hell my sister's about to live happily ever after with this guy after embarrassing me this way. That is a storyline I could get behind.
I see. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what I think. It could have been, they're flirting with something interesting, but as in true passions fashion, they will do the least interesting thing possible. They'll go the worst road they can possibly go down.
Because the men always have to be innocent.
Yeah, the men always have to be innocent. So, speaking of an innocent man, let's talk about TC and what's going on upstairs.
Oh my God.
TC is conflicted because Liz is still, quote, sleepwalking. She's faking it, obviously. And she's trying to make love to him in his sleep. He's like, I know I shouldn't do this, but that nurse at the hospital told me you shouldn't wake a sleepwalker and you should let them act out whatever fantasies they're. Boy, please shut the fuck up. He does eventually. Well, he doesn't do it. She lays down in the bed and he's like, oh, finally she's going to sleep. So he goes to like cover her up and she pulls him in for a kiss again, like a passionate kiss. After some time, he manages to kind of get away from her. He's enjoying this a little too much for my taste. He's saying out loud that, no, this is so bad. This is wrong. This is crazy. But his face is telling a different story altogether, right? Like, he's enjoying this. He's loving it.
He's loving it.
Yeah.
He was about to get some from Eve, so he's still horny.
Dick's still hard, huh? Still.
Yep.
So after some time, Liz does lay back down and goes to sleep. Of course, again, she's faking it. TC is like, oh, good, she's going to sleep. He gets a pillow and a blanket and lays down on the floor. And he's like, man, this is crazy. This is an unbelievable situation I found myself in. Nobody would believe this would happen to me. And he goes to sleep for real. And Liz like pops up and looks over at him. And it's just like, I'm not through with you yet, TC. You've got a long, steamy night ahead of you. And that's all there is with them this week. Y'all have anything to add?
Oh, I have. Why are you sleeping on the floor in your bedroom? If fine, you don't want to move her from a room. Go someplace else. Why do you need to sleep on the floor?
He can't. She has the key. She locked the door and she put the key in her bosom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, I guess I didn't say that too. Because that happened in last week's episodes. But she locked the door. She put the key into her boobs. So he would have had to like go into her breasts to get the key. So he didn't want to do that. And then
she's making out with him anyway, so you might as well slip in
you might as well get in there and get it, right? Like,
what pissed me off the most was a comment he made where he's like, oh, I almost forgot that I'm a happily married man. Like, what? I hope Eve beats the shot at you for that one. Like, because how is that even your mindset?
Like I
said, her away from you. Like, come on.
Like I said, he was enjoying it a little too much for my taste. He was.
But I think he kind of always had a thing for Liz. That's the thing. I think he was already feeling her.
Do you? Okay. Yeah. I think there's a conversation to be had here. Him. I've been saying that he likes Liz, but he doesn't see her as he doesn't see anything romantic with her or any potential for anything romantic. Like, for him, Liz is just like any other woman. Like, I think to him, Liz is basically Grace, right? Like, he's not interested in her. He's got his wife. He thinks she's a lovely woman, but he would never cheat on her. However, or cheat on Eve with her. However, I will say, like I said, he is enjoying this a little bit much, but I think the only reason he's starting to enjoy it, I think up until this point, he didn't see Liz in that way at all.
I think she flattered him a lot.
Yeah.
I think she flattered him because every step of the way, if he was fighting with Eve, there she was to, basically say why you're right, Eve's wrong. So I do think he felt a little bit more like that she was that sympathetic ear. I could see it becoming an emotional affair almost.
She was using, I could see that maybe. She was using the like stereotypical mistress playbook that you see in like media of like, appeal to the man, appeal to his ego, and fill in the gaps where his wife isn't taking care of him in that way. She was using that playbook, but TC was not responding to it. That's why I say that he didn't see her in that way. He was actually seeming oblivious to what she was trying to do because it was very blatant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, though, this could become sort of a turning point. I think that's why she has escalated to this point, is because he was not responding to all of her other tactics. So she has now resorted to doing this insane thing of pretending to be sleepwalking and just throwing herself at him and seeing if he'll react to this at least, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think it's up
to him up on the internet. That should have been a done deal right there.
Well, yeah, he loved that though. He was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You know everything about my tennis career or whatever. So like I said, she was appealing to his ego, but it wasn't working to make him see her in any romantic way. Again, it's up for I think it's up for interpretation. I do accept the interpretation that she's been chipping away at him slowly, and he has been kind of into her.
He's feeling her up a little bit.
Yeah, I accept that too, because I think it's plausible. It's just not what it just doesn't align with what I feel like I've been seeing, but I think it's plausible for sure. Okay, that's all I have for this first part. Y'all got anything to add before we wrap it up?
No,
I'm good.
Okay, so Maria, where can the people find you?
On the Discord.
On the Discord.
Discord.
Michelle, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Discord or on my Facebook author page, just Michelle Bliss.
Facebook. Okay. And I will link that in the description. You can always find me, patreon.com/passionspodcast. Sign up for whatever tier you find most agreeable. And you can come join a watch party, come and join the Discord, come and have these conversations with us. We're having a good time. And with that, you are my passion for life.